crucial. And then also, I didn't realize the strong need for new word of mouth. And that's, like I said, I think I got lazy. I hesitate to use the word cocky, but I think that actually is a better word for it, because I have really good connections with people around here. I have, I'm sitting in one of the places that I go to a lot, and I look around the room and I think, okay, there's 25 women here. I've shot for 6 of them. There's 3 more people out in the lobby. I'm shooting for them in the next 5 months. So I kind of got like, well, I already have the word of mouth, but the thing is that I had word of mouth at one level, at the lower level that I wanted to be. So when I started, I thought to myself, well, I'll do $3,000 as my base. And Jeff, bless his heart, said, why 3? And I said, well, because I know I could do that. And he goes, yeah? Do you know you can't do 5? No, I didn't know that. I was giving myself a huge cushion. I was going safe, and safe for me was 3 because I knew I could do it. But at 3, I was hitting the same market I was already in, and that I was trying to get away from a little bit, or actually a lot. So I guess it's I'm not sure if that makes sense to you, but when I switched my pricing, I didn't do anything new to create new word of mouth with new people. And that was a huge mistake too. So right now, what I'm doing is I have created that funnel. I have more things that people can do to come in, and then hopefully they come out the other side. I don't care, 1 out of 10 books a full session, a regular session, a $4,500 session. I love everything I do too, which is also part of this whole coaching thing, is that I've really discovered who I am. And if you know me from the secret, the SPC form, then you know how much I talk about this stuff and how exciting it is for me, and how just knowing who you are and why you're doing this makes a huge difference in what you choose to offer people. It doesn't become how to make money. It becomes, how can I do this for somebody else? This is what I want for me. How can I do this for somebody else? The second I offered Saturday morning sessions, people freaked out. It's what they talk about. Like, I had an email earlier and somebody was saying, well, you're kind of too expensive for me, but this Saturday morning session is amazing. I have to do that. It's what I want for myself. It's the same thing for back to school sessions. So I'm also needing to focus on my existing clients more. And that even means the few that I kind of ignored in the past. I need to go back to them and not make amends, but I need to go back and then maybe reconnect with them. I also need to reach out to my community more. Like I said before, that was a big one. And if I was, like, now I want to go out and I want to go to places that not necessarily my target market is, but where people who are influencers are. So just because somebody may not hire you, that doesn't mean they don't know somebody who will hire you. And maybe their friend is thinking about hiring you. And so think about this. So you've got a gal there, and she's looking at your website, and she's like, gosh, I really want to get my family photos done. I really need to get my high school senior, he needs his portraits done. Whatever the session is, whatever the photography is, what if you met this woman's neighbor at some kind of function, some kind of get-together, and she was like, oh my gosh, I met this woman, or I met this man at this party, or wherever it was, at this community center, I don't care. She was fabulous. She taught me, you would love her, you gotta call her. That is what you want. It's not about just that person, it's not the ideal mark, the ideal client. It's about the people around her or him. So, influencers, making connections with influencers, and there's lots of ways you can do that. You just have to you kind of have to get out from behind the computer. And it's hard. If you can join a networking group, that's a great way to start. For me, I'm going to go to some maybe schools or to moms groups, maybe teach like photography classes. I got to do something to keep getting my name out there and my face out there, people to meet me, because you can't understand who somebody is just from the picture on the computer on your website. So here's an example of my sales funnel that I'm working on now. So I've got photography classes. They start at $75. Almost anybody can afford $75. And they're all about, and for me it doesn't cannibalize my existing business because it's teaching them how to use even their phone better to take pictures. So it doesn't hurt me at all. Plus, I truly believe that we all need to be in the pictures too. So I can teach mom how to take the best pictures in the world, but if she's not in them herself, it's not doing her a whole lot of good. So the butter classes have a $75 level, and then they take that and maybe some people will move on to the workshop, which is usually what happens. That's $350. So these are multiple streams of income too. That's aside from funneling people in to get that full paying client, you've got multiple streams of income. You've got passive income too, because all of a sudden you're getting these well, it's not necessarily passive, but to me it feels passive because I put it out there and I'm just getting these $75 checks in the mail or PayPal or whatever, and it's really quite lovely. Saturday morning sessions, again, that came from my need for my kids to know what Saturday mornings are like here. And then back to school sessions, again, my need to do something for myself. Everything that I put out there is what I want to, and now I'm hopeful that if I get enough people in this funnel, that a couple will come out the other side as full-paying clients. And when I say full-paying clients, I mean the $4,500 clients. Not the $2,000 Saturday morning session. That's, by the way, all of these things in my funnel there are not about the money. Those, to me, that's all about just, I don't know, that fills me, that fills my need, and it helps pay the bills too. Okay, so here's just a really quick recap here. There's a lot of pros to this, but there are some cons. Yeah.
Can you explain Saturday morning sessions a bit more?
Oh, I'm sorry. If you haven't been to my website, not that this helps, but now you can see the name. But Saturday morning sessions, I show up early at their home. Hopefully one of the kids is sleeping. And when I say early, I mean early. If they want me there at 6:30 in the morning, I'm there, even if I have to drive a half hour. Because it doesn't matter to me, because these are so awesome. You go in, I find what's going on there, I look, and I usually know the family too, which is helpful. And that's another little thing I can mention in a second too, but you can offer certain sessions for less to existing clients. And so this is one of those. I document, I find all of these amazing moments, this beautiful, I can't even put it into words, just this sheer joy of doing absolutely nothing on Saturday mornings. It's, the most recent one was football in the living room, dad and boys on their knees. When you're there looking at it, the mom's like, please don't break a lamp. She looks at the pictures and she's like, my heart stopped. That to her is what she sees in her head, but she can't get over the fact that they're about to break a lamp. So Saturday morning sessions, they're just special, they're just different, and they are so different than my regular session that, again, I'm not cannibalizing. People can't opt for the smaller one in lieu of the bigger one. They are incredibly different. And for one thing, everybody's wearing their pajamas. And then the back to school sessions on the first day of school. I go with them to their house, I follow them around, I drive in their car. I just actually blogged my first one, so if you have a chance, if you're interested, it's up on my blog. But again, these are all drastically different, and there's no fear that anybody's going to choose one of these over a big one. If they want the portraits, I can give it to them. If they want I mean, whatever they want in that full paying session, I can give to them, but they can't get that in any of the other ones. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but hopefully that kind of explains it. But thanks for bringing that up, Jeff, because I did want to point out the difference between them all. Okay, so just a really quick recap here. The best part about it is I get the money up front. I'm paid when I walk through that door to show them their proofs, no pressure. I can upsell, no pressure. I don't have to apologize or feel weird or guilty for my prices. My COGS are so low. 2 years ago, it was a third of my income. Now, gosh, I mean, it's next to nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not literally nothing, but it's very, very low. This is also the ultimate client filter. Anybody who emails me now, I have a pretty good chance of either booking them or making them a fan. You know, they call you up, and this is again another thing Jeff taught me was they call you up and you don't just give them your prices, you talk to them, find out about them. Who are they? What are they about? What are they looking for? If they don't book, and they were on the fence, or maybe they didn't notice my pricing, it doesn't matter. I had an opportunity to talk to them. But my inbox is no longer littered with people who will never book me. If they're interested, they'll email me, and that's fine, totally fine with me. My emails dropped off by like, honestly, 80%. That means that I had only 20% of the emails to answer. It's fabulous. And then that in turn gives me freedom and more time with my family. The bad part is it's kind of hard to implement. It's a little scary. And if I didn't have the confidence and didn't feel that this was absolutely the right thing to do and didn't know what I was about, I'm not sure I could have done it. It also can be very hard to sell because it is incredibly unfamiliar for people. However, when I explain it to people, they all nod their head. I have not had anybody outright say that's ridiculous. Everybody seems to be like really happy. They seem to embrace it really well. I think it relies more on word of mouth than anything else. And that's hard because then all of a sudden Google is not your friend or as much of a friend. Because I did book somebody off of a Google inquiry, I think. No, that was word of mouth, sorry. I mean, I've gotten them for the smaller sessions, but no, all word of mouth. And then also you will most likely lose clients. I lost a ton, and that was my fault. I didn't handle it right. So there's that hard to implement part. All right, so here are a few. Oh, sorry, I just realized that Jeff, I didn't explain COGS. I think most people know that, but thank you for putting that up there. COGS is cost of goods. So all those canvases that you buy for your clients, or you resell, anything you resell, you're paying for it, and that adds up. And it's just all the packaging too. Oh my gosh, all your expenses, you don't have that anymore. And then you can take that money and you can actually buy them sweet little gifts here and there that just, make them feel good and constantly remind them of you. That's money well spent. Okay, so these are a few of the questions that I don't think I actually was able to implement into this talk, so I wanted to just answer them really quickly. A payment plan for my clients, I actually want it all up front. The people for $4,500, I will break it in 2 payments, but I collect one at the time of booking, and then I collect the other one at the time of the shoot. I feel awkward doing that, so if they will pay up front, that's great. You can also try to collect it a week before the session, so that you're fully focused on them and not having to ask for a credit card. The other thing is to use like GoPayment or Square, so you can just run their credit card right there. And did I ever have a situation where the client didn't like the photos? Yes, but that was before I did this. And this whole time I've been doing this, I would say one client didn't like the photos, and I immediately called Jeff. I don't know if you remember that, Jeff, but that was very odd. And that was her.
I remember it very well.
But that was her, and I offered a reshoot. And you just treat it like you would how would you want to be treated? If you didn't like something, would you want that person to try to make it right? Or would you rather have them just sit down and say, hey, here's your money back? I would want them to try to make it right. And then I did last year for one of my digital package clients, I didn't like the session because it had been raining or on the edge of rain the whole time, and you guys all know how that is when you have really bad light. And I just felt horrible taking their money for something that wasn't pretty. I offered a reshoot, and she jumped on it, and guess what? She booked again this year. So that makes me very happy. And it wasn't, all it was to me was just a couple extra hours, and then I felt happy. So you handle that kind of thing how you want to be treated. Okay, so this one is, what are some of the challenges you face with this pricing structure? Like, I went over what went wrong, and then having clients understand, I kind of covered that too. I think they do, I think they get it. However, I think that putting something on, and I don't have it on my website, but I think that putting something on your website, just maybe explaining very quickly why you offer only digital files or why you offer digital packages, I think that kind of is helpful because maybe they need a little, like, I don't know, a reminder, a little flick in the forehead that, you do it because you want them to have the files, the freedom, the security, for whatever your reason is, then I think that's a smart thing to do. Jeff may disagree, I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out later. And then how long did I go without work before this kicked in? Never. Because I always had something else going on. It was slow. It was incredibly slow. So I launched this last summer. I want to say like June or July or something. And then it was a long time, several months before anybody booked that $4,500 one. And just for the record, I actually started at $5,000. And again, that was a mistake. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't go and check with certain people that were connected, or I have one woman I'm connected to has a very high-end interior design business. I ran it by her. She felt like $5,000 was a little too high up front, but then when I talked to another gal who kind of rolls in the right circles, she said that the $5,000 number is too much. If I dropped it down to $4,500, it'd be fine. So it's a really weird thing. You kind of have to ask around, and don't be afraid to talk to people. And then also, I guess, I'm sorry, I kind of got sidetracked there. So yeah, that took a while. So then I backed it down to $4,500, and then once I did that, 2 months later is when I got a booking. But it was from word of mouth. Again, it was a referral. How many previous clients did I lose? All but one. I kept one client. I am slowly gaining back the other ones through little things I'm doing to them. Like things I'm offering them. Like I put together a digital package. It's $2,000 for holiday photos. Ridiculous, right? Well, $2,000 compared to $4,500 is really quite lovely. And it's a small session. I don't have to worry about going to their home and designing. I don't have to worry about style or anything. I show up, I shoot for an hour, and I give them 25 digital images. So on that level, they are still there. And if I do the math on these things, if I actually, got out a calculator, they are all roughly the same time. So if I took 3 clients at, $2,000 or $1,500, depending on how long they've been with me, it's the same time and the same money as a $4,500 one. So that's also what you want to think about, is you have to think about how much you want to make per hour, which then that's a whole other conversation. But really, again, I made some mistakes, and I want to share that with you. I've learned so much, and now I feel like I'm getting in my groove, and now I'm feeling really good about where I'm going and where I'm going to wind up. So, with that,
Jennifer?
Yes.
I've got a couple of questions here that I wasn't able to answer. I figured it'd be better if you'd answer verbally. Let me give one at a time.
Okay.
Do clients perceive the sales session after once they are already getting into this?
Okay, so that is actually a really good question. It's hilarious because no, they freak out. They have no idea what to do. If I do one of these smaller ones, like the Saturday morning session, I don't go back to their house. It's literally just that one day. I get phone calls. Okay, now what do? And then I've had people call me up for canvases and everything. So it is a really good way to either, really help them out and extend a hand and be that, like as Jeff Israel was saying, like heroic and help them out, or upsell. And both work. It's so easy to say, you know what, here's how you do it. If you want, I can do it for you. Here's my price. I suggest that your prices not be what they were before, like maybe they're less because they did pay so much up front. So a canvas that you might sell for $600, you know what, maybe actually drop that down to a more reasonable figure. Does that answer that?
I think so. I just wrote. The second question, and they meant me to repeat it, but I'll repeat it here in the Q&A. If all of your packages contain all of the images, what differentiates packages? Time, not product, because they are all a la carte.
Well, okay, so I explained that probably later, so maybe you got the question before I talked about that, the funnel, and that I have all of my sessions are drastically different. So one is school day, one is in pajamas, and one is at their house doing whatever they want. They're all different. And time does factor.
They're all customized, or, in essence, since it's not about the products, it really is you sitting down with them, determining
it's about the experience. All the experiences are all incredibly different. And yes, one of them, the big one, does take a lot more time. But yeah, the experiences are all different.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not that are outstanding.
Okay. I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
Well, there are plenty of questions that I've been kind of answering for you, and you'll be able to review them at the end.
Okay.
That I can give the wrong answers, but we're coming up on the hour. I want to make sure that you can.
And I didn't think it was going to go that long. Anyhow, all right. This was fun. This was awesome. Honestly, if anybody has any questions, absolutely. Put them on the cafe, the Facebook group. Might as well have a thread.
Yeah, and I'm going to be saving the questions and answers that are here as well, and I think posting those in the file.
Okay. All right, you guys. I don't know how to end this.
Have you got an end slide, or are you going to?
No, that's it. I'm done.
Sarah Cruz has asked, so in the end, the clients posting out the digital rights and files?
They have for personal use, and you have that in your contract. So if they want to go out and enter a contest for Cutest Kid, they have to contact you.
You don't also include hardware?
No, I don't. But if they order it afterwards, I don't include it, but I will sell it to them later. I do, when I send them all of their stuff, I do have, a nice little letter that goes with it that says, if you're ordering anything greater than an 11 by 14, I highly recommend you go through me.
Oops.
Did I lose?
Yeah, you lost a second. Yeah, it just because it came up to right an hour. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I do recommend that anything 11, they order up to 11 by 14 by themselves. Anything greater than that, go through me. Just because I can do more quality control on it. It's a more expensive purchase. Some do, some don't.
Okay. Are there any other questions, guys? And if there are, I would agree, go ahead and post them up on the T-Mix Cafe. Okay, wait a minute, we've got a bunch coming. Let's try a couple of them, and then we'll have to call it. How do you explain it on your site, Stephanie?
How do I explain you'll have to go look. Because, really, I just say, I don't explain it on my site. That's kind of what I was saying. If you want to explain why only digital, then do. And I might change that. Like I said, I'm getting my site redone. So there's a possibility that there'll be a line in there that just says why I do this. I think that explaining why you do things to people is really important. Jeff and Simon Sinek have explained that to me. Simon Sinek is my boyfriend, you guys, just in case you were wondering. Go look him up.
And I'm very jealous.
I know.
I guess Sarah Cruz asked if you order at cost those targets, or do you mark them up?
Oh no, I mark them up. Never, ever, ever, because I offer things that are different than what they can get. I'll do the canvas for them if they really want me to, but I'd rather not. But the products that I sell, they can't readily get. So I use, I don't use MPICs, for example. And I don't sell photo prints, like I don't put photographic prints, because they can get that anywhere. And I've done tests. Costco, our local Costco, one of them, their print came back and the color was just dead on. And there's no reason why I'm going to charge somebody for something that they could get themselves.
Correct.
But I don't mark it up like I used to, if that answers your question.
I think you make a great point that says that you sell those commodities and act like it's a special product.
That's it, Jeff. Exactly. They're smarter than that.
Another question. When you're contacted, how do you describe and sell your packages? You can call?
Oh, always. I always talk to people. Always. I'll email back and I'll say, let's set up a time. I have my prices on my website. If they didn't go through and look at it, then that's kind of, that can be a little murky. But when on that contact page, it says my prices where they start, so they have a good idea. Yeah, I always talk to them.
Stephanie Benbow, this will be the last question, guys. Stephanie came back and said she's also on about price architecture. What's the rationale that you give to clients as you suggested? And I'm gonna start that answer for you, which is you have to rationalize the price. Your who, why, and purpose isn't clear.
And to be honest, I've never had anybody question the price to me. I have had people say, wow, that's expensive.
And that's when you get to nod and say, I know it's because
exactly. I say, it is, isn't it? Yeah. But,
okay.
There you go.
Stephanie, not what I meant, sorry. She's saying on her website why she is digital. No, she doesn't say that, Stephanie. She says why should hire her on her website, not why she's digital, right?
What I was saying is that why digital? Like, why would I have digital packages when that's not the norm? What I was suggesting is that we might need to have a line on there. And again, I don't have this on my existing website. It may or may not be on the new website. I may have a line on there that says something like, I offer only digital packages. I offer only digital files because, and then whatever reason it is, which is I want you to have them. I think they're important.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. I'm going to have to jump in. Hang on just a second. And I know that I'm echoing. I'm not going to make it very long. That was awesome. Jennifer, you did killer. I hopefully answered all of these questions, which I'll review. And if you have questions that didn't get asked, or if the answers that I gave you that Jennifer didn't give you to begin with, or you think it's different, then go ahead and put them on Team X feedback, and we'll get them handled up there. Thank you guys for coming to our very first webinar, and I think we're going to continue doing this, except we'll work the kinks out, like how to get back to and how to let the speakers these questions and answers. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Thank you. Shut it down. See ya.